Whew. Back to playing light gun games, except if you want to be real pedantic about it, probably not technically one because this is being played on the Wii and not with an actual light gun, but still, it's close enough. This was like the second reprieve and arguably last one that the genre ever got as the move to non-CRT displays was starting to take place. Also, like, I don't have the means to even play the actual light gun versions of, like, House of the Dead 2 and 3 on their original home-ported platforms, just because I do not put the money down for getting a light gun for each of those. Not to mention, the situation with Dreamcast light guns is such a pain in the ass. So we're doing the Wii version instead. House of the Dead 2 and 3 Return. They're arcade ports, they're short, therefore it makes sense to just go through both of these in one sitting. Still, I think if there's one benefit I found to, I guess, doing these, like, these Wii versions of light gun shooters, is that, like, normally, I've had to kind of, like, basically, like, put up the mask on my character model, you know, like this. Mainly because the way I would need to hold my, my gun con 2 when playing any PS2 light gun games would basically make it impossible for my webcam to actually read my face and, like, track it in its entirety. Because these games are like, you aim at the screen and there is a cursor because it's an infrared, like, it's an IR pointer, essentially. Like, so, like because of that, I can kind of, like, leave my arm a bit rested down below and, like, aim upwards at the screen. Which works well enough, I'd say. Also, because this is House of the Dead 2, a game where I feel like it is a fine example of doing a particular style of play because of how simple and to the point using the guns are. I mean, like, it's just you point and shoot, and then you shoot outside the screen to reload, or I think in the case of this port, you just kind of shake it, the remote, because that's what most people did with the Wii remote anyway, in order to reload. So yeah, no extra need for buttons or anything. So I've got we're rolling out the guns akimbo. Yeah, this will probably be real silly looking, but and I'll probably be sucking ass a lot for a lot, like in the early game, just because it's, or even the entirety of House of the Dead 2, because that's where I'm going to be doing it. Yeah, like you get the option of 2 and 3. We're going to start with 2. Although this is an interesting thing that happens on this version of the game. Like, when you select the game at the start, you go through, like, this mini game right here as you're essentially transitioning from the setting of one game to the game that you are trying to get at. And, oh, shoot. Why is it not... Oh, what the hell?
Bad.
Okay, something... Okay.
No good. No good.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time since I've actually booted this up for anything.
The enemies started an all-out attack. We have no time. Let's hurry, Gary.
Okay.
Okay, actually, first things first, just because it's not doing exactly what I'm wanting it to. Because I'm trying to, like, in addition to all this, like, if I can just get the damn thing to actually recognize, so Yeah, so one thing I'm needing to do is get both of these damn Wii remotes, like, actually, like, connected. Just need the second one. Okay. And also, because I am a sucker for, like, for playing these Wii light gun games in the particular way that I do, I actually have, like, some regular, like, gun clamshells for, like, for hosting, like, for holding the Wii remotes in place so that I can just wield them like an actual gun. Okay. Ah, fuck it. Okay, this is kind of going a bit bad. I imagine part of this is that I am straight up, like, shooting... You know what? Actually, fuck these things. Yeah, I actually need to reset now just because it's like... I can't get, like, an actual way inside the... outside of the calibration menu itself. So yeah, it's... like, I've used those before. It's fine. The problem is that, like, because of how my setup is, I need to be pretty damn close to, like, the TV anyway.
Sega.
And also, like, just the, like, I have no idea why, just, maybe it's because of just how old some of, like, my remotes are at this point. That the one that is not really my primary always does not, I always have to go back into, like, this reconnect menu and then, like, do the same process over and over just to get it to sync for the session. Yeah, so I guess we'll just do it this way.
Gotta run. My dad's waiting for me.
See ya.
Yeah. Oh, well. A few minutes in, we're already at, like, some technical difficulties, I guess it were. Actually, we just need to... We're fine skipping this for now. This should be fine. I do what I can to play these kind of games on stream, but it just does not help that the cramped conditions of, like, my recording setup makes it such a pain. So we're doing House of the Dead 2 first, and I'm specifically doing this on, Are you fucking kidding me? Hold on. I'm getting the sense I really should have, like, thought about, like, doing a practice check with this or something, like this setup, before actually streaming. Because it had been a while since I've had to use more than one Wii remote for anything on this thing. There, okay. Wait, no. Okay, so something I'm going to definitely need to do. Ah. Alright, so infinite credits for that. And then what would be, like, a good extra thing? Because I don't want to do anything that's going to be, like, upsetting, like, the game balance as far as, like, how my weapons work or anything like that. Yeah, what would be something good for player 2? Because I got infinite credits for player 1. That should be fine, and hopefully it applies to both characters. I don't know. Maybe. If it somehow doesn't, that's going to be real unfortunate. Screw it. We'll assign him the costume of the best character this game has. Wait, no. Hold on. There. Okay. Now to start this properly. God, I'm really gonna have to figure out like a more comfortable setup for everything. Like, if I want to do Ghost Squad, because I feel like that's the end result of light gun rail shooters on Wii that I want to stream. It's that game because I fucking love Ghost Squad.
Let's go, Gary.
There we go.
Please be safe, G.
Okay, so far so good.
How could anyone do this?
Nice. Okay. Hey, there's G. We met him over there.
James, I tried.
God.
Don't underestimate the enemy. James, take this.
And also, Goldman, why are you here? Oh, man.
Harry and Amy are coming to back us up. Hurry.
This is so silly.
Thanks, G.
I love that it is the extra costumes in the sense that, like, it is just them, like, replacing the model. It's gonna be real weird once we get to Goldman, running into Goldman. Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah. I cannot guarantee managing to save every civilian we come across, but that's honestly fine because this game has very, very natural feeling like branching pathways when you break them down. Like, you have to be like very quick on the take as far as like what actions you're taking that are going to cause you to go down a certain route as opposed to the other. Oh, great. And these assholes. And aside from the fact that it's obviously, like, pretty difficult still to, like, aim two guns separately at once and these sort of things, don't think the game is somehow easier if you actually manage to master it, because they do adjust the game to account for, like, the fact that there are two players, so there are, like, encounters in general will usually have, like, tougher or at least more enemies present.
Thank you. Please take this.
Oh, and of course, the player 2 side. Of course, Gary's the one that gets an extra health item. Suffered the same way G did. Not, but oh, whatever. The voice acting in this is terrible. You can't expect the subtitles to be any better about it. Okay. Just shoot at both ends. Wow, okay. I haven't even let haven't let Carl get way too close to me yet. Okay, come on. Alright, that was the first time, but it's alright. This boss is cake, honestly. At least the first half of it, that's the thing. Because it's when Carl goes down for real that it's, yeah, like this. This is the tough part. Yeah, see, like that. Like I have no idea how to like properly. Yeah, see, it's like his horizontal wave is like so much harder to hit than the vertical one.
Amy, Harry,
You know that they set that up exactly the way they did because this was an arcade game.
No, but it's very similar to the 1998 Tyrion case.
That case?
James,
Yes,
go
that
and
case.
use him in the city.
Okay.
Let's meet at Sunset Bridge.
We're counting on you, Gary.
It's Goldman. I just love how, like, Goldman's model on that is, like, standing so lifeless. Oh, man. But here's the man himself.
Dogs of the AMS. Time they made a move.
Made a move.
No! Help me! Gary, let's hurry. What?
It's Goldman. Okay.
Thank you for rescuing me.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Oh, man. But this game is so good still. It's still the best House of the Dead game. I know people would be inclined to say that honor goes to Overkill because of, obviously, like, the grindhouse aesthetic and, like, the humor. And I won't disagree that those parts are great. But even if we're talking about these games in the context of how well they execute on the genre gameplay expectations of a light gun shooter, like, House of the Dead Overkill, in my opinion, is only, like, middle of the road on that front.
What?
Like, this is at the top. Like, it's very, like, simple and executes what it wants to do so well. While, like, its biggest triumph are, like, the way it handles its branching paths. There we go. You have to shoot that key in order to go this path. Good, okay.
Dad's still inside.
Don't worry. We'll get him out.
Fun fact, Harry's voice actor in this game is the same person that would go on to voice Michael Wilson, the President of the United States, in Metal Wolf Chaos. Also, sorry, dude, I got a bit trigger happy. I didn't mean to shoot you.
Let's go, Gary.
It's still like a cool effect, just like with those leech monsters going under the rug and how it like undulates. That's cool. But yeah, Harry's voiced by the dude that would go on to be Michael Wilson, which you would think is like very hard to tell because he's not doing the Michael Wilson voice. But a lot of what he's doing is like his regular inflections on how he speaks in general is similar enough. Which kind of like goes back to the whole theory where it's, I've always had, where it's like the voice actors that they have in in these Sega arcade games are not proper voice actors. At least most of them aren't. If anything, they're just like either foreigner employees at Sega of Japan, or they are just random expats that they pick off the streets, telling them, "Hey, we'll give you some money and like a free lunch if you do this, if you like read these lines for us," and we record them. That's the only way I see that even working because these bad voices, they are not the result of like trained professional voice actors intentionally being bad. These are genuinely, like, non-voice actor people having to do this.
Harry, the chaos of the city is increasing.
Well, it's about that. It seems like Goldman.
Wait, we'll talk
You
later.
call my name? Okay. Alright. Hierophant, let's go. Also, House of the Dead has been like very good as far as like creating like decently satisfying bosses to shoot who are in which their primary feature is to just be like something with like a big glowing weak point that you have to shoot at the right time. And it works. They obviously, like, as the games go on, they use them more as an excuse to, like, act as set pieces, as it were. Okay, why was it not... Alright, I gotta keep the... There we go. It's a lot more reliable if you try and, like, even with two guns, it's better to aim at, like, the same spot as opposed to, like, separate ones. At least in most cases. That's the important thing. Alright, where's he at? Come on. Ah! Damn it. Okay, got him. Whew. I'll say, I still kind of wish that, like, my,
No one's gonna get away with this.
that the gun shells I have for the remotes actually were working better, but I feel that would only really happen if if I was actually in a position where I could sit farther back.
It's been a while, hasn't it? My friends from the AMS. It's me, Goldman.
Goldman.
Well, the 1998 curing case. Guess who's behind it? It was Goldman. He's the head one of the most eminent financial group and an expert on the genome theory. We have to stop him.
Genome theory.
Jane, back me up.
Just the weird pronunciations are really the icing on the cake when it comes to this stuff. Okay. Ah. Oh, come on. Dick, he had to kick me.
Yeah, I'm hanging on.
Also, my name is Goldman. I do not look like that, like Gary or whoever you think he is. So far, though, all things considered, I am doing well enough. Oh, fuck. Well, except for the part where, I'm very terrible at saving all the hostages, or most of them, rather. I'm pretty sure, the amount I'm saving is, less than half. That's pretty bad.
Thanks for saving me.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes, this is Amy. Yes. Yes. It seems that Goldman left a message for us.
What? From Goldman?
Well, he says that he'll be waiting at the Coliseum on the north side of the city.
The Coliseum? It might be a trap, but let's go on.
All right.
Over there!
Ah. Couldn't shoot the rest of the boxes inside the garage. Don't come! Don't come! It is hard not to think of, the other kind of come whenever they say that. Again, all the, the delivery on the voice acting does not help it. Man.
Jane, you guys use the underground passage. We'll go this way.
Okay.
Sure thing, dude.
When something happens.
Don't kill me!
Help!
Okay.
My friends went inside, but they're not back yet. I told them not to go.
Yeah, whatever. Oh. That no is so great. Just going. No. I probably didn't do as good of a delivery on that, but oh, okay. Here we go. Tower type 8000. Just shoot the heads. Just shoot the head as it's about to attack, and it gives that glow around its mouth. Ooh! Ow! That was the wrong one. What the hell? Okay. Ooh, that was close. Yeah. Yeah, there was they would not be trying to hit you as rapidly as they are now if I was just sticking to one player is the thing. Like it's a fun challenge to do, but it really highlights how like so many of like these arcade light gun shooters, like the way they're balanced and like change up their difficulty based on if it's one or two players. They never really take into account the idea that someone might be ballsy enough to like wield both guns at the same time and have it be just one player. You know? No one really like comes up with like no one ever really like does it like that. I think the only like light gun shooter I played that actually like directly acknowledges that as like a gameplay option is, funny enough, House of the Dead Overkill. Like it has a toggle that you can enable that lets you do dual wielding, but it's still like I think it still balances it around like one player, and even like keeps like the like your score. It keeps just the player one score instead of trying to split it between two players.
James, come quickly! Something terrible is happening!
Amy? What happened, Amy?
Yes, what happened? Alright, we saved 3 at least, which is enough for a life bonus for both of us. Okay.
Everything's set. All we need to do is wait.
Man. Again, still really glad I decided for like the playthrough to be done on
We have no time. Let's hurry, Gary.
like for it to be done on the original mode. Just because with this save file I got, it basically has everything unlocked for all the different modes across House of the Dead 2 and 3, except according to the save description, because of some sort of glitch, they weren't able to unlock free play mode on the on regular for House of the Dead 2. But free play is available on original mode, and I want to make sure that I can show off this playthrough in its entirety, even though I am obviously not good at the game. So, yeah. I may love these games, but I never profess to being like pros at them. Chamber 8. Okay. These guys are obviously, like, way more durable now.
No!
Ah, fire.
Good luck.
Life 2. Okay, thank you.
Is this the Coliseum?
Man, actually going back through this game again.
People
Like, I remember mentioning this when I was playing Vampire Knight, like, months ago, and noting how, like, the main levels, like, felt like they were getting shorter and shorter, almost as if there was, like, less budget, as it were.
Look at your left.
Because, yes, look to your left. There's the boss.
Amy! Harry!
Well, friends, I look forward to meeting you people again.
But yeah, the thing is that, like I made that comment under the assumption or, like, the misremembering that, like, levels overall in House of the Dead 2 were, like, a lot longer than they were. But that one was, like, real quick. Same for the one before it, if I'm being honest. But I imagine part of that might just be because of that they designed so many branching pathways that it makes sense that they probably didn't want to make each one like way longer than they needed to. Ah. Whew. Okay. Alright, just keep waiting. Fuck it. Oh man, my aim's still getting off. It's kind of the frustrating thing, because it's like when you play this one-handed, just with like one like gun weapon at all, like most people, I mean like myself included, are generally their dominant hand is on the right. And like the hard thing I always had to get used to when it comes to like trying these light gun games with like 2 guns instead of 1 is that I try to make things easier myself by moving the player 1 like gun controller to my left hand.
I'm not gonna let you get away with it.
Which, even knowing that, still fucks with me because of the player 1 weapon in my head always should be like in my dominant hand, but it doesn't match up, especially when looking at like the crosshairs. Even when you have, and think about that still, like even when you have crosshairs, like to try and help, which I think in some cases might actually make it worse. I feel like the ultimate test of that is that I need to do something like I need to get another GunCon 2 and try like Virtua Cop Rebirth again, but this time in 2-player, just so I can see if that's possibly better. Ow.
This must be the car.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's a shame too, because it's like, as much as it is infinitely harder to do, who doesn't love the idea of pointing like 2 gun-shaped controllers at the screen to play a light gun game? Oh, Carl. Yeah, even though it's not spelled how you normally think Carl would be, it's hard not to think of it as like this little demon referring to this suit of armor as just like someone with a regular ass name as Carl. It's so goofy. Okay, come on. It is so damn hard to hit this little bastard. At least consistently. Like, yeah, there's obviously like patterns to like the routes that he flies. He mixes them up so frequently enough that it does make you feel like it is just random nonsense. Okay, but here it goes. Ah, phew. Okay. Alright, that's actually the better way to do it. Okay. Yeah, just don't aim for the center. Wow! Actually no hit during that, as opposed to the multiple hits I took during the first encounter.
There's no such thing as a second chance.
Alright, back to the drive. Oh god, these semi-invisible freaks, they're definitely the worst when it comes to fighting them in this game. Okay. There we go. Yeah, double up on that damage. Let's go. Oh, come on. He just had to keep his canopy closed at like the worst times. Whew, got it. Yeah, I think that was just 1 hit. Yeah, that's still better than before.
Too bad. You're better off that way.
Right, that's, yeah, some of these will, like, on occasion still, like, spawn one of those damn chest bursters.
Let's go.
Okay, but here it comes. The boss fight everyone loves in this, not just this game, but in this series. An absolute legend.
So this is Goldman's headquarters.
What?
Here he comes.
Can't be. You're...
I've been waiting for this time to come. There's no future for you people. Either I give you, or the Emperor will. Either way, there's nothing you people can do.
It's the magician. A boss that has appeared in both House of the Dead 1, 2, and 4. Technically 3, but not as an actual boss, but just as like a flashback, because 3 has like a lot to do with like directly with the events of 1. He's also a real pain in the ass to fight, as far as like where to actually hit him. Come on. Yeah, it's like the idea is that he does not have like a weak point that's always like in the same singular spot. It's that he has technically multiple. It's the parts of his body that are like the exposed muscle. The problem with that though is that he likes to move around a lot. So yeah, I'm just aiming for like the exposed parts in his legs because that's a bit easier. Ah, fuck. Ah. This is exactly the kind of boss that is just designed to like sap what is left of like your credits. But damn, is his theme so good.
Only man himself can control its fate. You're nothing.
All right.
At last, you've come. Friends, the door of fate shall open.
The final chapter. Oh, it's going to be especially fun once we get to Goldman and just see how his stuff goes. Also, I've completely forgotten about the fact that there is some amount of slowdown on this, but I'm actually not sure that's just a result of like the game was always like this, or it's an issue with the hard drive I have it running off on, or maybe it's a case where I don't know. It could be something where it's like because I've never really done a full playthrough of this game all the way with like in 2-player. Maybe it's like that's kind of contributing to it. I'm not sure.
No turning back now.
Ugh. Regardless, even though I'm willing to like do this kind of playthrough for House of the Dead 2, both my hands are kind of, or at least my left hand is asking for like a rest. So once we move on to House of the Dead 3, I'm probably just gonna stick to like a regular 1-player game. Especially if like my remote is gonna keep like if my second player remote is just gonna keep disconnecting as much as it does every time like on a major scene transition like between game modes.
What is this place?
That's the part that I can't stand. All right. Ow. I actually don't recall even seeing like that, like one of the orange flashes around the other serpent's mouths. That might have not like shown properly. I'm not sure. Shit. Ah, okay. No second phase, at least. Just all 5 heads are down. Okay. Yeah, my left hand's grip's kind of starting to give way, so I'm gonna hold out as much as I can before switching back to just holding the main remote in my right. Here he is.
I've been waiting for you, friends.
Goldman!
You're
Do
me.
you know
I'm
what
you.
you're doing?
I'm fully aware of what I'm doing. Can't you see? Man
Oh
committed a
god,
sin,
I imagine this would
disturbing
look
the life
even more
cycle of
hilarious if I
nature.
had the Goldman
The
costume
original
on
sin that
both
man is
characters.
responsible to protect the life cycle.
An
I
life
have
cycle.
made a creature to rule over mankind.
His enunciation
is
on
the
regular
final
words
battle.
is just falling apart.
Show
It is
yourself.
beautiful.
Our new ruler, the Emperor.
It's like, it is such an absurd, like, change in character and tone. Going from, like, those chapter interludes to this.
I am the one who rules over nature. I shall destroy and hate mankind.
Alright.
I am the Emperor.
You're just another tarot card, buddy. Oof, okay. Weak points unknown. I could certainly guess. Yeah, clearly it's his chest. Yeah. Man, it is hilarious to think that they even tried to be coy about, like, oh man, we don't know where this one's weak point is, even though it's like he's a metallic blue god with like an obvious red circle in his chest. You can like barely see it, but it's there, and it briefly opens up. You know, I got infinite credits. Who cares? I'm just gonna keep aiming for the center to keep this going. Ow, fucker. Ah, fuck. Are you kidding? Yeah, now he's just like summoning versions of like of the different boss attacks. Though that serpent head is just stupidly difficult to hit. Yeah, it's like just the pattern it moves in is like way too fast and like unfamiliar with what I've experienced before. Oh, why was the angling so off? Yeah, again, this is the part where it's like you can clearly tell how like trying to play this game like two-handed really starts to fall apart. Yeah. So all I can really hope to do is just like keep countering these boss patterns that he summons, because that's the only way I'm gonna deal damage for like this third of the fight, rather. At least I assume it is just the third, unless it goes all the way to the end. Okay, come on. Yep, alright, final third. Oh, yeah, that is ridiculous. You gotta be really good at like having a steady aim in order to like hit these balls as they're coming towards you. Ah, fuck. Yeah, and it's like, it is dealing damage, there's not like a noticeable like drop in health every time you like hit it, but it is there. You see the tiniest yellow sliver on the boss health meter. There we go. Whew. Yeah, my left-hand grip for holding a Wii remote is clearly not as refined as it is with just holding it in my dominant hand.
Goldman!
Friends, it is not over yet.
Is that all you have to say?
In time, a successor will come. Farewell, friends.
Bye, fuckers, I won't allow you to arrest me! Alright, and that's House of the Dead too.
Over.
Oh man.
Did we really do the right thing?
Don't know. But we have to find the answer by ourselves. As long as we try to keep on living. Goodbye, Goldman.
Okay, there it is. Still a great game, all things considered. Obviously, it's still an arcade-like gun shooter. It's clearly designed to, like, ramp things up to the point that, like, at first glance, you would wonder how the hell are you supposed to get through with 1cc. And turns out, it's possible. Just, ideally, it would not be done with, like, both players at once, unless you have, like, 2 people on each of the guns and are extremely coordinated. Although it does make me wonder if there is like a playthrough out there of someone that actually did do what I just did, but like perfectly. I know one like light gun focus channel that I follow on YouTube, Kaz Gun Shooting. He has plenty of House of the Dead footage. I don't recall seeing one where he played through like this game or any of the others with like with like 2-player active, but by himself. I have no idea if he actually did. I know he's done like very good like score runs on like the House of the Dead games as well as Time Crisis. Even a pretty good solid run on like Ghost Squad with like with all missions at level 8 difficulty. Rank 7 and rank 6. Of course the player 2 side gets a slightly better rank because that's where my dominant hand is. Okay. Oh, wait. That was bad. Oh yeah, this is like the training mode, which is I'll be frank, this one's pretty bullshit. Like I've never been able to actually make it to the end of even like I think one of these because they are so strict in their timing. Destroy all enemies within 30 shots. You have 2 lives. We'll try. I couldn't really back out if I'm being honest, but whatever.
Ready? Go!
Come on. Yeah.
Failed.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Fuck that.
The house.
Okay, yeah, I forgot, like... Okay, so, that's basically House of the Dead 2. There's not much else I'd really want to show on that front. I mean, like, there's the options. You can, like, change the crosshair, I guess, as well as disable it if you so choose. But that's really only if you're, like... Yeah. Yeah, that's really only if you have the means to actually play farther back and actually calibrate the thing properly so that when you aim at a spot on the screen, it actually lines up almost like a real light gun. Which is a feature that, funny enough, like Ghost Squad not only has, but greatly encourages because, like, playing without the crosshair gives you more points. Which is nice, but I can't really do when I have to be so freaking close to the screen. So that's it. That's it for the first of these 2 games. Going back to just one gun now. Okay. Let me double check some things. Oh yeah, and obviously like I was just checking the second remote that I put off to the side, and yeah, when I switched games, it absolutely did change back to like it did turn itself off. Okay, so yeah, very easy. Free play. Red or green? I might as well try green. Just for difference sake. I mean, these things are monsters. Half of these things that we kill aren't even human. I think it'd be fun just as like a slight difference. Time attack, extreme mode, but we want arcade mode. Although, thinking about it, I don't recall actually, like, trying extreme mode just to see what that is, if it's even anything like original mode in House of the Dead 2. Because I really do like that mode for 2, but I definitely don't recall that being the case with,
Let's do it. Yes, sir.
Oh, well. Now, oh yeah, this is Thomas Rogan, the dude on the left.
Let's move out. We can't forget our mission.
Who looks weirdly like Harry Mason, if I'm being honest, or at least in terms of clothes, not so much the hair. But I want you to keep that comment in mind when we get past this mission, because yeah, there's some goofy character designs that I feel like was not the intent of the designers themselves to make you literally think of like a different series entirely. But yeah, House of the Dead 3, it's like, yeah, it's weird. Like, in my mind, I feel like this game is like the least favorite of them for me, between 1 through 4 and Overkill. Which is weird because I feel like I've not touched the first House of the Dead in a long while to like reassess my opinion on it. But the way my ranking always was with like those 5 games, because I never got the chance to play Scarlet Dawn, which is arcade only for the time being, is that the ranking goes 2, 4, Overkill, 1, then 3.
How many of these things are there?
Like 2 is sublime, even if it is lacking like some of the mechanical additions that like later games had. You know, like the fact that your main weapon type is a pistol that holds 6 shots is like, it's certainly plain in comparison to like how they experimented with weapons onward. Like this was the game where they introduced that shake up to the formula by changing your main gun from a pistol to something else. And it being a shotgun is interesting.
I'll never give up, no matter
but
what the doctors say.
But it's not being like not having the actual shotgun controller with you, I think hurts this. Like no amount of like gun shell like for holding the Wii remote can kind of change the fact that you still have to you're still reloading this the same way you would with like any of like the other types of guns. In the arcade with the shotgun controller, you actually had to pump the shotgun to reload.
Mom that I'd bring him home. Let's go.
Anyway, here's Heather Mason. She looks a lot like her, but like a weird, goofy anime version of her. But like the things that like this game goes for with having non-pistol weapons and more clearly communicating like route splits is the sort of thing that like got carried over into House of the Dead 4. But that doesn't, I still feel a lot better than this game does. It's not to say that this is bad, it just gets kinda, it is the, like, I'm generally fine with like playing light gun games even if I feel like the core conceit is enough to make people feel that it's a bit repetitive. But I could definitely see the argument being made for House of the Dead 3, even for me as someone who likes these type of games. Yeah, because as it stands, it's like shaking the remote to reload it does not have the same satisfying feel of like pumping a shotgun to reload. It's strange.
Get away!
Alright, we saved G. That's actually a feature that off the top of my head didn't make it back into, or maybe it did get back in House of the Dead 4. I forget. That's another I need to replay, but man, I like the best experience I had with House of the Dead 4 was playing it in actual arcades, because while I did have the PS3 version, I never owned the PS Move, which meant I had no choice but to just play with like an analog stick on the DualShock, which was not ideal. Not ideal in the slightest. Ow. I probably should not have tried to reload during that. You kind of do it habitually at times that it fucks with you.
Hey.
Ow, man, I didn't get the time to shoot that.
Get going.
Ah, fuck. But yeah, if I'm being honest, as much as I think House of the Dead 2 is like the best, obviously, it's not because of the fact that like your weapon that you have in that game is like a 6-bullet automatic pistol. Like the actual, I think the weapon that is most fitting of this series is the one they introduced in House of the Dead 4, which is a submachine gun. Because with the increase in like arcade hardware performance, they were like, oh shit, we could like cram a bunch of zombies on this now. We need a better weapon when it comes to actually dealing with them, you know? And like having a shotgun with a wide blast radius, I feel kind of would end up cheapening the need to like be like a good aim, to be good at aiming, I guess. So a machine gun, something that's rapid fire and holds a lot of bullets before reloading, is like a good solution to that. Plus, you had extra grenades as like grenades as a sidearm. Okay, what do I want to go with? Fuck it, Genome Ward.
Was my father always involved in missions like this?
Yeah. Who knows how many times your father and I survived by the skin of our teeth. What do you think your father did for a living?
Okay.
Look, Daniel. It's the key. This will
Also,
remove
to
the
reduce
barrier
even further the
between
reason
life
why this is
and
like not
death.
like in the top
You don't need to
part
fear
of
anything anymore,
echelon
Daniel.
of the series.
Not even death.
House of the Dead 2 and 4 have Goldman. I think that says everything it needs to. I mean, hell, even House of the Dead 4's Goldman doesn't sound the same as House of the Dead 2 Goldman.
What happened to
Like
the
that
world?
that is the thing that
1998
cements
case
why
happened, I
people love
suppose.
House of the Dead 2, I
Product
feel.
was a threat to humanity
Because of all, like,
itself.
the voice acting
Your
being
father
bad
wanted to
is,
stop
like,
with, though.
a big draw. But he just steals the show, as it were. Okay, he was already dead. Ow. Fucker. I'm trying to, like... Oh, man. Okay. And... Oh, yeah, that's right. You can actually hit that thing multiple times to get score. Okay. Excellent.
Let's go down.
Also, I feel like because of how like the shotgun spread works, it doesn't make it like
I can't believe I'm doing this.
it just makes things a lot difficult as far as parsing for sure. Like how good you are as far as like getting those accuracy bonuses for your combos. Which again, with the submachine guns in House of the Dead 4, it was a lot better about that.
Oh, it's terrible.
like the most I can at least recall is if like if you at least like aim at like the head region and like keep chaining it across enemies to the point where it's like you only really need to like hit each one once as they come along, then that gets you like the best possible scores. But I've never been really good at that. It was a lot easier for me to like understand that whenever I was like playing House of the Dead 4, like back in arcades. God, just thinking about House of the Dead and like arcade-specific experiences, it still bugs me so much I was never able to experience Scarlet Dawn. I don't even think any of the arcades that were like around me, like near the end of my time in Washington, like I don't think any of them even managed to get Scarlet Dawn. They got the like even the round 1 that I was able to go to, like that was quite a ways south of where I was. In Washington State. It didn't have it, at least during the time I checked, and when I talked with people I knew who were around there, they also confirmed, yeah, they never saw it. They did have Time Crisis 5, though, which that was a fun experience. That is another game that, like, by any and all means, desperately, like, needs a port of some kind. Even if it has to be PC only, I don't care. I'll play it with a mouse. More people need to experience that game. It is nuts. A Time Crisis game with 2 pedals instead of 1. Why not? That is like the logical step forward that series could take. Okay.
What's that smell? Oh man!
What is
All
this
right.
place?
Now I think we're getting
Some
to a
sort of
boss where
beating
like
ground?
I think this is also like another reason for why I'm not as fond of House of the Dead 3. So many of the bosses,
Get ready.
I kind of had some of the least amount of fun fighting. Like this giant sloth thing. I remember just being like a huge pain to deal with, as well as a later boss in this game. Unsurprising that like the first games, like the first levels of boss is like the most tolerable to deal with, and that's only because it's reusing the like an earlier boss type that was already used in like House of the Dead 2 back at the Coliseum, you know? It's like, I mean, look at this thing. Like he's clipping through the freaking. Oh man. Clipping through the scaffolding. This is ridiculous. And yes, you can technically still shoot through the gratings, but it really fools you into thinking that you might not really be able to because bullets don't work that way. But apparently it does, I guess. Oh man. God, House of the Dead 4's bosses are so much better, and so much grosser than this too, which is an extra part of like what makes them good. I just love like thinking of House of the Dead 4 again. I just love how every like thing about like the enemies and bosses look in that game. Like putting that like HD graphics tech to good use for rendering so many zombies at once. So many zombies that are like shirtless and look like weird undead punk rockers. Alright, come on. Jump again, you asshole. There. And one more time should do it. Ah, okay. That still got it, even though I didn't take down, like, the red meter. And, oh, yeah. That's painful.
Had enough yet?
God. Alright, and somehow an S rank.
So, you and my father stopped Kyrion's plans, right?
Yeah. Sure, we'll go to level 2. Just do these in order, I guess.
Maybe someone's trying to continue his legacy.
His legacy, not Goldman's? Seems to be a lot of people in this universe who've had the very terrible idea of making a bunch of ungodly bioorganic abominations.
Human morality? Most of my researchers have left me.
Yeah. Sensory chaos.
You getting along with Rogan?
I don't know. My father always put work ahead of his family. I barely have any memories of him spending time with Mom and me.
Ouch. That's pretty harsh.
Well, what do you expect? He's always making us worry. I should slap him upside the head for Mom.
Yeah, always making you worry as you're literally living in a zombie apocalypse. That is true. Like this game takes place in 2019, like almost 2 decades after House of the Dead 2, and as like and as demonstrated in House of the Dead 4, like clearly catastrophic events occurred that like basically made like this entire zombie like monster problem more of a worldwide issue. Yeah, I really want to play House of the Dead 4 again. Just thinking about all these House of the Dead games. And the fact that I'm really only, like, feasibly able to just play the ones that I have on Wii for right now. But hey, at least that means, like, once the weekend comes around, we'll be moving on to House of the Dead Overkill, a game that more people will probably recognize and immediately be into, because, yeah, it's like, gameplay-wise, sure, it's middle of the road for the series, but God, is it, like, tonally just amazing. I love it.
We're in some giant plant.
Lisa, back me up.
Oh! That sucks. I should have killed them in time. Ugh. Oh, but now we're getting to the point where like a lot of these really are just shit. Yeah, it's weird thinking about it in the context of like different types of games where your primary combat is with guns. Depending on like its priorities, it really does make it hard to enjoy certain types of guns based on the type of game they're in. You know, because it's like if we're playing something like a Resident Evil, like especially like an action-y type like 4 or 5, the automatic type weapons always feel so like so unsatisfying to use. You know, stuff like pistols and shotguns are where it's at. When it comes to, like, light gun shooters, though, I really find the shotguns to be, like, the least satisfying, because it's a matter of them, like, you know, because they're shotguns, by video game logic, they have to apply some manner of spread to them. But the spread, I feel, kind of takes out some of the fun of the, of doing the, like, the precision aiming that provides that skill that skill ceiling to light gun shooters. You know, at least with, like when it comes to the automatic weapons like a submachine gun or whatever, it's still fine to use because like you're still aiming at like a very fine point. It's just you're firing a ton of bullets at once, and sometimes you need that rapid fire because of like trying to stave off any damage from enemies. Again, that does say a lot too, because whenever I think about like Time Crisis 3, I think the shotgun is generally the one that I like using the least. I'd almost rather go to like the submachine gun and the grenades well before the shotgun. And yeah, obviously like the grenades themselves are like they cause a blast radius, so that kind of gets around. But you still kind of have to aim at a very specific point if you care about like manipulating the blast damage to hit specific areas you want. At least that's how I justify it. Shotgun, meanwhile, is like, yeah, it's a wider spread, so it's like where the pellets land, you don't have to worry as much about accuracy. Also, depending on how score systems are made in these type of games, if you like have a shotgun, even if you're hitting something with like some of the pellets, it does make you feel a bit worried that like that the remaining stray pellets not hitting anything will somehow like screw up your combo. See, I guess that's my beef with it and why I don't find shotguns as like a particularly satisfying type of weapon to use in House of the Dead at least, but also like in any of the various other like gun shooters I've played. Yeah, that was a plant monster. Kind of boring.
I never was any good at gardening. It looks like it'll open if we shoot it.
Yeah, that solves everyone's problems. Oh, God. I got that score item as it was jumping around. Nice. Okay. Yeah, that at least would like feel a lot more satisfying, like with those bugs, if I had like a submachine gun instead, you know? Oh well. Gripes about guns aside, it's like I'm not saying this just because I like hate playing this game in particular, because I don't. It's still fun.
Zombie army there.
Like none of like the mainline House of the Dead games that I played are anything that's like I've hated going through. They still succeeded like a base level of fun regardless. It's just that some of them clearly go above and beyond more than others. And that's obviously not counting, now that I just remembered, Typing of the Dead, which might as well be its own class if we're being honest.
I know just what Dad would say if he was here.
God, Typing of the Dead, that's definitely
believe in
something I
yourself,
need to
Lisa.
do. Not only for
always says the
original
same
Typing of the
thing
Dead, which
over and
like
over.
which
I'm
is
sick
just
of
another version of House of the Dead 2, but I seem to recall seeing something that there was, I think like in Japan only, like
Daniel.
there was supposed to be, or there ended up being a Typing of the Dead 2 that was specifically for House of the Dead 3. And yeah, just thinking about that, I gotta do some digging to figure out what I need to do to get all versions of all the different Typing of the Dead games up and running. Because obviously the easiest one to acquire would be Typing of the Dead Overkill on Steam. But that's obviously based on like the extended cut version of Overkill, which I'm not nearly as fond of in terms of like how it looks.
Rogan was this persistent.
Especially like how the cutscenes are completely reanimated, like from the ground up. Like the way that they were all animated in the original version, I felt was like more than perfect. But yeah, Typing of the Dead stream, that would be dope. Okay. Real difficult trying to like get the score items when enemies are like so up in your face all the time to just hit you. Like, good job, you're getting score bonuses, but you're also getting hits. And it's like frustrating how consistent that is. Like, I feel like even throughout House of the Dead 2, it was a lot easier to get those while still dealing with the enemies as they came toward you. Kind of another factor against this game, I guess, if you want to keep breaking down like the things it does wrong. Though what it does wrong ultimately results in a game that is more like a maybe like on the high end of a 3 out of 5. I guess if we're using like the 10-point scale, it would be a 7.
Looks like we got away.
Which is more than fine. Ah. Okay.
Lisa,
There it is. Ooh, just barely. Freaking flash step zombies. Who do they think they're trying to impress, man? Huh. Got him just barely. At least across all the games, like, they generally do a good job of, like, pacing out the amount of damage you can do to a weak point before you stagger a boss, and making sure that, like, if you're keeping up on things, like, you are guaranteed to pull off, like, the most amount of damage at the very last moment when they're no longer moving or like their body or appendages to the point that, like, it's difficult to even hit. That one was obviously not well timed because of the reload, but you could see what I'm talking about. It would be, like, easiest to get, like, very clean headshots.
Hey, don't touch me there.
Okay.
Looks like he's going all out.
Okay. Yeah, the game sure loves to punish you just for, like, doing a lot of, like, reloading your gun mid-combat and not doing it, like, at the best proper moments. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like, he was hanging on that swing, but his head was most vulnerable to really, like, guaranteed damage. That's what I'm talking about. They've always been pretty good about doing that, even when it comes to, like, how wildly varying in quality the bosses can be in this series overall. Ah, damn it, not fast enough. Okay.
You just don't give up, do ya?
No, he does not. This little, like, wind-up robot just walking around for no reason. Didn't even flinch when I shot him. Okay. And more of these guys. Alright. And there he is again. This at least, like, again, kind of cements why I think that might be the best boss of this entire game, because it is based entirely on the same one from, like, the Colosseum in House of the Dead 2, where it is the chasing boss archetype. But they do a pretty good job of making that work not just as a boss fight but as a set piece, which is like the thing you really want a boss fight in a light gun shooter to excel at, if you're being perfectly honest. All right, B rank, so no life bonus. That's fine. Shit.
That was close.
I'm sorry. I should have reacted faster back there.
You're being awfully honest, aren't you? Don't sweat a kid.
I know. How come I'm so stubborn in front of my dad?
Alright. Chapter 5.
Things look a little different.
Okay.
Close.
And now we make it to the part where we were at, or at least close to, in Chapter 0, which was a flashback, playing as Lisa's dad. All right.
We need to find a way to go faster.
I think we're going plenty fast enough as is. Alright, come on. Ah, fuck it.
It's a dead end.
Hang in there, Rogan.
Dad! I knew you were alive.
Lisa, I figured G would bring you here.
Oh, yeah. G has seen so much action.
Wait, G!
Pleased to meet you, Mr. G. My name is Daniel Carrion. Dr. Carrion was my father. I believe you knew him well.
It may be hard to believe, but he's the one who saved my life. He's the only
What a
one who
shocker.
can prevent disaster. I have to go.
You can't. You're hurt.
You see what I'm talking about? How it's like
Take care of Dad
Rogan's
for me.
outfit looks like he just took it straight out of freaking Harry Mason's wardrobe from Silent Hill 1.
Believe in yourself.
Hence, like,
no
the
matter what happens.
weird, like,
Believe in yourself.
weirdly more anime-looking
I finally understand what
version
that really
of
means.
Heather, as played by Lisa.
Because
So
the
yeah,
wheel of fate-
now G gets replaced by Daniel. I guess that's the one thing that is kind of novel about like this House of the Dead game, where it's like, yeah, it's still like one there's no like character stats or anything crazy like that. But the fact that like at points like in the game's chronology, like you have different playable characters wherever it makes sense, that's actually kind of cool. Because whenever you play House of the Dead 2, it's always going to be Harry and and Gary, I guess, or whatever it is. Assuming I got like their names right. I forget, honestly. It's so hard to remember all the names of everyone in House of the Dead 2 except G and Goldman. And here we are. We're back at where the prologue ended. Oh man, that's slow down. Oh man, there was a health over there. Just God, this game, it just does not want to like linger on like item pickups that you can shoot.
I've spent the last 19 years watching this evil grow. I know it's dangerous. I've always known that. But the wheel of fate must be broken.
But how?
How,
Manage to hack
indeed.
the program. That should give us the opening we need.
Yeah, time to now have a final boss fight with another character that looks similar to the Emperor.
The future belongs to the people who are alive here and now. I'm prepared to live the rest of my life bearing the burden of my father's crime.
Okay.
Well, yeah, considering that he eventually cured you of your terminal illness, yeah, you are living proof of that.
I am curious. I shall destroy everything and resurrect everything.
This at least is visually cool for the time. Like the thing that I actually forgot to make mention of with this game in question is that this was made on the Chihiro arcade board, which for people that are familiar with like their Sega arcade technology, Chihiro was based like almost entirely exactly on the original Xbox specs. The primary difference, I'm pretty sure, was that like it had double the amount of RAM. Hence why it is possible on certain hard-modded Xboxes to play Chihiro games by just soldering on like an extra set of RAM that doubles it up to 128 megs. So yeah, like this sort of these sort of visual effects right here, totally in line with what they were capable of like pulling off in arcades at the time. Visually looks cool. Also, still continues to remind me very much how much I really wish I could like that that we had gotten that Xbox port of Virtua Cop 3. If that had existed for real, and I didn't have to worry about, like, figuring out, like, the time, money, and, like, resources to mod one of my Xboxes with 128 megs of RAM, I would still be playing that right now. Instead, I am just patiently waiting on CXBX Reloaded's, like, progress to get rid of all the weird, like, graphical problems that game has. Because frame rate-wise, it actually runs pretty solid, like 60 FPS. It's just a matter of, like, certain visual effects that they cannot properly emulate yet. Kind of fucks up your ability to see things. Ah, come on. Still real difficult to actually say. Truth be told, I have no idea, like, which boss is, like, more agonizing to fight, this or Emperor. Both go on for a pretty long time, regardless of, like, how good you are at these games. But I guess that's kind of the point. It's basically the game's way of having, like, a last gasp at trying to take all your money, so you don't beat it in one go. Ah, I also get that this thing thinking more about, like, why I don't like the shotgun as much as this is that, like, they really were proud so much of their, like, reload animation trick for, like, for pumping the shotgun and whatnot, that they had to make the animation long enough to really show it off. And anytime you have to reload during fights like these, it always feels somehow longer than it is just reloading the regular pistol. Because in House of the Dead 2, because I'm pretty sure, like, there was no, like, assigned animation for that. It was just shoot at the side of the screen, you got all your bullets back, now get back in the fight. It flowed a lot better. Come on. There. Okay. Next phase, please. Thank you. Oh god, and I just realized that, like, it is living up to the name of Wheel of Fate pretty aptly, just because of, like, the wheel spinning, as well as, like, the almost doing, like, a roulette wheel spin as far as, like, what the series of attacks it's gonna go for next. Come on. Ugh, somehow got through that. Jeez, man. Finally! Holy shit!
This is the world you humans want. The world is overpopulated. Even you.
I gotta say though, this is something that, like, looking back at, like, the OBS feed, this may or may not be, like, to people's benefit that, like, my capture card's automatic de-interlacing is helping, like, mask the fact that there is a massive amount of, like interlace flashing on the Wheel of Fate's, like, lighting, like, massive, like, drop shadow flickering. I mean, it's kind of cool, again, because it's like playing this on a CRT. You really do appreciate, like, the kind of the visual effects that it has, like, that it can do that other displays aren't as good at.
Thanks for taking care of Lisa.
Actually,
Oh,
she did a
great.
good
This is
job
like the
taking care of
worst
herself.
way to
But Rogan,
scroll credits. Like, why would you scroll it horizontally?
it's their future.
Especially when it's like, I have to run this at 480i.
Maybe everything
I
will be
already know, just looking at this, I can't read the credits through like the stream preview for shit. And I know for sure no one else will.
Believe in themselves.
Oh man.
Lisa's
This more
starting
than
to sound
anything
a
is
lot
why
like
you should scroll your
Wait a minute.
credits vertically,
Is that your
goddammit.
idea of a joke? I guess things are already starting to change.
Okay.
What's wrong?
Lisa, could you wait for a second? This place was my whole life. Goodbye, Father. I won't let your efforts go to waste. If humans go down the wrong path again, I'll come back to this place. Sorry. Let's go.
All right. The end. And still, as far as I can recall, this is the game that is still farthest in the timeline chronologically. Like, House of the Dead 4 is an interquel, and I think Scarlet Dawn actually takes place, like, a bit after the, not too far after House of the Dead 4, weirdly enough. Which seems weird, considering what happens in that, but oh well. So yeah, with how long those games tend to go for, of course we got through this in like roughly half an hour. Let's see. Actually, what should we do? You know what? Let's just show off extreme mode just to kind of see what that's like, because I have no idea like what the core difference is. We'll at least do like I think like the stage chapter 0 and chapter 1. At least with chapter 1 I can show you that alternate route. Like chapters 2 through 4, I'm pretty sure the way it works is that it is just those, you get to choose which areas you go to in whatever order. They don't really count the same way as regular branching paths. But that just further goes to kind of highlight how much less interesting the path through these levels are compared to House of the Dead 2, because you don't have those natural branching paths. The extreme mode in general, just based on what I'm seeing, whole lot more enemies.
Can't let everyone's death be in vain. Hurry!
Man, it's weird to think that I'm basically doing like more than one playthrough of House of the Dead 3 on stream, as opposed to doing more than one for House of the Dead 2, which is a game I like infinitely more than this. Oh well, but that's just how it is. Just want to get through this prologue already. But yeah, these guys are definitely more resilient, it feels. Okay.
Stay out of my way.
Yeah, it's like, it's either more enemies, or what's more likely the case now that I'm going through this more is that they're just tankier. They just take more punishment. Like, you really gotta be hammering them with so many shotgun pellets.
We found it.
All right. Yeah, just load up the next level. I at the very least just want to show what the other path is that you can take in Chasing Shadows. Yeah, parking. Let's go. Okay, come on. that's still a real dick move unless you know it's coming, which I never can get it through my head that I have to know that's coming. Yeah, it's like extreme mode. It's like, hey, make sure you're good at aiming and firing multiple shotgun shells at once, but also have them all go to the head. And yes, obviously, actually, I'm starting to wonder if I even selected the right option. Like, I'm forgetting if I even, like, I thought I picked the left option on the normal playthrough, but unless I accidentally picked the one on the right beforehand. Yeah, I'm starting to think, like, maybe I had picked parking the first time, but without realizing, because for some reason you don't get the actual, the game just does not give you, like, a crosshair to actually, like, indicate that, because it wasn't designed for it at the time.
What? A security guard? You gotta be kidding!
Also, still the best boss fight of the game. And they use it twice. Come on.
Let's keep going.
Okay, yeah, oh, now it is. All right, now I'm remembering. Like, the route split actually happens once you get to this part, as opposed to going up the stairs. Still, goddamn, I know for a fact I definitely don't want to do, like, a full playthrough of this on Extreme. Even with infinite credits, just dealing with, like, the tankiness is so frustrating. Okay.
Hey, we're just passing through.
Yeah, we sure are. Ah.
We don't know when he'll show up again. Keep your eyes open.
What? Why is it? Are you kidding? I was shooting it. I was shooting the health up and it didn't give it to me. Oh my god, who cares? I'm not even continuing with this playthrough anyway. Once we get to the end of this chapter, we're calling it quits. It's a light gun stream. They're always going to be on the shorter side because, like, there's not as much game to it as you think there will be. Nah. I'm always taking at least one hit per cycle with this dude. Yep. Same.
Gee, there.
Got it. Lisa, slide under it. Now there's a guy with a reminds me of Rogan.
Wow. Only a D rank this time. Yeah, yeah. This mode is definitely an extreme mode.
All right, Lisa.
I can absolutely see, like, how they change things up. It's not extra enemies. Yeah, but honestly, that's gonna be it. This is fun going back through those. You know? I do feel like at some point or another I'm gonna need to, like, replay House of the Dead 1 and reassess that as far as whether that is still in my mind better than 3. Or maybe worse than, who knows? Because 3, I think, like, makes enough of a decent impression starting out. It's just that as it goes on, it kind of wanes more and more in a way that, like, that these games generally do not. 2 is still absolutely the best, no question. But that's it. No stream on Wednesday because, again, that's my birthday. I've got that set aside for playing Metroid Dread because I've been waiting for that. And then Saturday, things will resume with House of the Dead Overkill, which may or may not be all completed in a single playthrough. Who knows? Because I know just playing through that and letting all the cutscenes play to begin with is obviously going to make it longer than both of these games combined. That's just the nature of those kind of games when you design them for a console setting first as opposed to an actual arcade. Even though I feel like that kind of arcade design mentality deserves to be explored a lot more for console exclusive games, but that's like another topic that I don't have time for right now. Okay, well, thank you. That's going to be it for the stream. Thanks for watching. See you all the way at the end of the week, I guess.